We're going to change gears and ask a couple of rapid fire questions if you're ready for them.
Absolutely.
So
Bismillah.
you lived and studied in Damascus. So I wonder what your answer to this question is going to be, but your favorite qari of the Quran.
So this is where my affinity for Bosnian culture is going to be expressed here. My favorite qari is Hafiz Aziz Alili, who is Bosnian, originally I think from Macedonia. He's the imam at the masjid in Zagreb in Croatia, and I follow his recitation. Although I do have a soft spot, obviously, for anybody coming from Syria, but yeah.
That's a first. That's a first for Double Take. So I look forward to listening to him. The latest book that you were reading.
I wish I could say it was a religious, because I'm surrounded by books, and I always have these books I start and I want to come back to. There are several books I'm kind of like working through, but in terms of the book that I most recently read, it was Ursula Burns. I think the title of the book is called "Where You Are Is Not Who You Are," and it's kind of funny because she was a CEO, like the first Black female CEO of Xerox, and I ended up reading this book because I was just kind of so intrigued by the story.
Awesome. And as someone who studied and lived in Damascus, what's your dream breakfast? And it can't be Syrian food. It's got to be something else.
My dream breakfast, for me, as someone who routinely skips breakfast, my dream breakfast, subhanAllah, I would have to say right now, probably a stack of buttermilk pancakes with strawberries sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. Ustadha Zaynab, you won the Georgia 40 Under 40 Muslims Award in 2016. How did that happen?
SubhanAllah, I don't think I was really deserving of that recognition, but it happened because I was part of an organization called the Islamic Speakers Bureau that got started in August 2001. We were trained to go out and present about Islam and Muslims in August 2001. And then a month later, we know what happened on 9/11, and we were just inundated with requests from the public in Atlanta, where I was living at the time, this major city in the southeast of the United States, to speak about Islam and Muslims. So we all kind of had to step out into this really interesting space of presenting about Islam and Muslims after something so tragic and shocking had happened. So I volunteered for that organization for a number of years. And the head of the organization, Sister Samaya Khalifa, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we're doing this Georgia 40 Under 40. You should really apply." I'm like, I don't know. But she kept on kind of insisting. I'm like, okay, Bismillah, I'll just go ahead and do it. But I don't think I was the most deserving recipient of that recognition.
Jazakallah khair. And if there's a historical female Muslim figure that you look up to, who is it?
This is a really tough one because there are so many, but Sayyida Zaynab, the sister of the martyr Al-Hussein radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, who stood up to the tyrant Yazid, I would love to meet Sayyida Zaynab.
Amazing. I mean, why her? Like, compared to so many others you could have mentioned.
I know, there's so many. There's Nana Asma'u, there's Sayyida Aisha, there's Sayyida Khadija, there's so many, because this is a moment of just immeasurable trauma for the Muslim Ummah. Al-Hussein has just been martyred. He is the beloved grandson of the Prophet ﷺ. He's been martyred in the sands of Karbala, and the women of his family, including his sister Sayyida Zaynab, are taken to Damascus in chains. And there's this moment where she has to be the spokesperson for the family of the Prophet, standing up to this tyrant Yazid in his palace in Damascus, as his soldiers are actually saying, "Which woman of Ahl al-Bayt do you want for yourself?" Can you imagine that? And she stands up in that context. The courage of this woman is it's beyond what we can just, subhanAllah, even conceive of.
Wow, Jazakallah khair. Final question. If you had unlimited resources to put together the ultimate resource for Muslim parents, what would it be?
Wow, that, subhanAllah, I would have to say the ultimate resource for Muslim parents, I would have to say it's to have 24/7 on-call therapists and psychologists and life coaches and academic tutors, not to mention someone to help with the cooking, cleaning, and laundry, I suppose.
Jazakallah khair, Ustadha Zaynab. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having you again on Double Take. There's a plethora of topics we could really dive deep into with you.
Well, Jazakallah khair. Anything good that I said was from Allah Ta'ala. Any mistakes were entirely my own. Thank you so much for inviting me. This was definitely a pleasure.
Jazakallah khair.